Knick's Talk Nation with your host, Steals the Great, live on Bars and Hoops Radio.
New York City, we back. The Big Apple, NY. The Knicks are back. Staten Mellow. This dedicated to my city, New York. Official kings in the court. Reach with a ball, a hard lesson gets taught. So bring your skills to the nearest playground. No clown around. Catch a helmet in a minute on a New York playground. The Big Apple's what they call it for short. And basketball is our sport. We play for keeps and never settle for sure. So bring your game when you come to my town. We snatch a crowd. You get embarrassed on the court after you shook to the ground. You get respected when you prove you get down. So save the joke for the clowns. And NYC, we known to go a few rounds. This is a city where you're forced to go hard. You'll get booed out of Dodge and shown the door being the weakest on squads. Rucker Park and summer nights, they stay live. Brothers play for the pride and bragging rights on who's the king of NY. So grab the pill and prepare to go hard. Pick your 12-man squad. Orange and blue, better believe we go hard. This for my city, New York City where it's gritty. Yeah. For my city, never pretty. New York City, sing it with me. Yeah. For my city, New York City where it's gritty. NYC, for my city, never pretty. Yeah. New York City, sing it with me.
New York City, sing it with me. Steals the Great, Hard Will, Knicks Talk Nation Radio, Mondays, 8:10 to 11. Hard Will, what's good, bro?
What's good, bro? How you doing?
Ain't nothing, man. I'm here putting up with it. You know what I'm saying? It's another Monday. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot to talk about. You know, a lot going on in Knicks land. I know that
How was your week?
The week was great. You know what I'm saying? The week was actually great. The weekend was even better. And shout out to all the teams that's competing and playing hard. Shout out to those kids that's playing hard from all over the city and from Long Island that took part and that's taking part in the Bars and Hoops Round Ball Classic, man. Shout out to Team Crate. Word the mother. Shout out to Far Rockaway. They came five deep on Saturday. Swept all their games. You know what I'm saying? Went up to Watson in the Bronx, cleaned up over there, came back on Sunday, got another W, you know what I'm saying? And they had a couple of kids playing up. You know what I'm saying? It was a good look, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a good look for them, man. Shout out to the Shooting Stars. You know, they came with all of their teams, played almost the whole day on Saturday. I had games from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. We did a whole shift out there in the park. You know what I mean? And it was a good look, man. The weekend was great. The week was great, man. And capped it off, man. Happy birthday to my moms. You know what I'm saying? Our birthday was on Saturday as well. So I had a lot going on. Yeah, happy birthday to my moms, man. So I was commissioner during the day and then chef during the night and party host during the overnight. You know what I mean? So it was a lot going on Saturday. And, of course, we had our show on Sunday after the tournament. So it was a long weekend, man, but a lot turned out to be well, man. What about you, Howard? How was your weekend?
It was good, man. You know, can't complain. Work like normal, you know. And like I said, I'm just happy we got another show, a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, happy birthday to your mom.
Yeah, thank you.
Shout out to all the teams that's doing a great job over there. Shout out to the Crate. You know, shout out to all the young gunners out there. They've been inside so long, you know.
Yeah.
They balling.
Yeah, they balling. I ain't gonna lie, man. A lot of teams came to play. It's gonna be a very interesting playoffs this year in all of the divisions. I can't lie, man. It's some good competition. All the bad teams are gonna be weeded out, but when it comes down to it, when the good teams meet up with each other, it's gonna be a war. You know what I mean? And I love it, man. I love it, man, for real. And before we move on, you know what I'm saying? I gotta shout out my brother Dirt. You know what I mean? Today is his birthday as well. You know what I'm saying? We was out there having a good old time before I came in to do the show, man. I'll be remiss if I don't shout my brother, our childhood friend, man. You know what I'm saying? We go back to the sandbox. You know what I mean? Today is his birthday, man. They out there acting a fool, having a good time. So I probably may join them after we get our show over tonight. You know what I'm saying? But word, Hardwell, man. So where you want to start with things tonight, man? You know, it's a couple of Knicks that's out there playing in the Olympics. You know what I mean? couple of draft guys that people are looking at, man. I mean, where you want to start tonight, man? How you want to do it?
I mean, I seen something caught my eye, being that you mentioned the Olympics.
Uh-huh.
Uh, quickly said that Durant told him he want to, work him out, like work out with him.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, that's what he said. So I
So
just seen that little. I was like, but I thought about it. I said it's not a bad thing because you know why? It's been times like that when, a close team like Brooklyn, New York might play. Maybe one player may be cool
uh-huh.
with somebody,
Uh-huh.
and you know, it's okay. He
Yeah.
learned something from Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a very good scorer. For him to even want to teach him, to me, is what caught my eye.
And that is cool. And I respect KD for extending the olive branch to our young phenom, our young rookie. I mean, but now that you say that, I look at it a little deeper. It goes beyond Knicks and Nets. I think that it goes back to the whole Maryland connection because they both from Maryland. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
KD is from DC. You know what I mean? And Quickly is from Maryland. You know what I
a
mean?
little,
So
yeah.
DMV connection is there. So they probably bonded because they both from the same area. So KD probably just want to work out with him because he see a bright future, young man trying to take him under the wing. I mean, I won't look nothing into it. I won't look more into it than that, but I think it's just more of a brotherhood and KD just being stand up and like, yo, nah, this guy's from the DMV. I like his game. I like where he's going. Let me work with him and mentor him. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
hope they ain't trying to steal the young fella. You know what I mean? For real.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that. I just thought, yeah, it was like what you said, more or less. Like,
Yeah.
and for
Yeah.
him to do that, to be such a good scorer, you gotta, he could learn. And he was like, oh man, it's just an honor for him to offer me. Because they
Yeah.
got their own little closed sessions. They don't invite everybody.
That's a fact. That's a
So
fact. That's
that
a
made it
fact.
dope.
So, I mean, let's get up to the elephant in the room. Since we talking about the Olympics, man,
Mhm.
the U.S. team lost to Nigeria in an exhibition game. You know what I mean? Now, my question to you is, do you think that the international game is catching up to the game here in the States?
That's a very good question. You know why? Because sometimes we talk about it. I think I bring it up to you as well.
Uh-huh.
That we talked about where they put their kids to play basketball at like 12 years old.
That's a
That's
fact.
where they go instead of going to school. They play professional and they
That's a
teach
fact.
them the bare minimum. But these are the kids now that's getting the big contracts. So it looks like they making a good decision. It's like a contradiction in the states, if you ask me, Stills, because
Why
the
is that?
players, they made them have to go to school, and these kids never even had to go, and they got to go for the same money that those kids get to go for. Now you see why, right? Because now they got to pay college kids. All the rules is changing because a lot of stuff that was going
Yes.
on wasn't fair.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to the kids about to get the bag. Shout out to them taking whatever comes their way because they getting the car washes, the car dealerships, the wing stops, the little local restaurants. Anything that come
Advertising.
their way, they jumping on it like, yo, now, all right, you want to use my name? All right, pay me. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at that, but I do think that, you know, it's gonna cause some sort of division. That's a whole nother conversation. It's gonna cause a division between teammates because now it changes the game. Some guys may not be all in now on the team. They only gonna be worried about their bread and their brand at a young age, and I think it's gonna hurt the game to a degree. But that's a whole nother
I
conversation. But
mean, it's already been like that, Stills.
uh-huh.
And only difference now really is that they get paid for their services because college already was getting paid for their
Mm-hmm.
services.
Mm-hmm.
So in all reality, those kids already knew they had a brand. They
Yeah.
just weren't allowed to promote it for themselves. So that was not fair, if you ask me. So it always been like that. It's kids that's there that they know they're not going to the league
Uh-huh.
because if you do the math, it's not enough room for all the kids that want to go to the league. So the smart kids know. So that's why if you realize now they saying they have another league. I heard Drake, a couple people own, they start another league.
What?
Yeah, and you see the G League now, they letting people have teams. I was
Yeah.
just talking about it. The Ignite team that Jalen Green is on is not even an affiliate to no NBA team still,
Uh, hmm.
because it's too many players. So now it's a monopoly because even the players from colleges got getting paid. They got names. Think even the big three. All this is they got their hand in the it's big money coming with these new leagues.
Yeah, and the big three did start up, man. You know what I'm saying? And I learned a lot this weekend too, man, in
Like
regard
what?
how these sponsors operate too, with and not to change the subject, how the
No, it's
sponsors
cool.
operate when it comes to like dealing with tournaments and things like that. Like I heard guys would lose their sponsorship, like just doing simple things. Like let's just say if Nike is sponsoring your tournament and you get caught out there one day wearing Adidas or something off brand on the time that they sponsoring your event, they'll take their sponsorship from you, which is crazy. It's like, damn, like I can't even be myself. Like, so in other words, like my tournament won't even be my tournament no more if I bring in a sponsor. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
But that's what solidifies you. And it's not really crazy because they put a lot of money into you and they feel like you should be representing a brand. And that's the same thing I was talking about with some family members because
Uh-huh.
they AAU is sponsored by Adidas. But
Mm.
my nephew, for example, they
Yeah.
send him all these companies send him sneakers. See, now it's legal, so it's no secret no more. But
Yeah.
they've been
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's
Hell yeah. Jamal used to
influencing.
say getting sneakers for everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's influencing the family or the athlete. So when he gets to that position, maybe he's going to take the deal with Nike instead of Adidas. They know what they're doing early on. So to your point, making a point to what you were saying in reference to why they're like that, because they protecting their brand, they're going to put a lot of money in your hand. You know what I mean? For you to give all the kids sneakers and run a tournament to make
Oh,
Nike look bigger. So it is worth it for you
okay.
because
Okay.
Nike is a nice brand anyway. It's not like it's New Balance.
Got
Nike
you.
will keep you laced out as well.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Okay. Now, well, I learned a lot about it this weekend, man. For real. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of guys came through, showed love, and we just was talking about that stuff. But getting back to the Knicks, man, and the Olympians, man. 3 Knicks right now on the team currently are playing in these Olympic Games. RJ Barrett, of course, plays for Canada. I don't think they made the qualifying round to go to uh Japan.
Hmm.
France with Frank Ntilikina and Luka Vildoza, from Lithuania, the Knicks' newest acquisition that they picked up during midseason last year. He's also playing in the Olympics, man. So my question to you is, are you against um, players playing during these Olympic Games? And do you believe that the international play will make these players any better come next year?
I do, but the players who are sitting out,
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's fair if they're getting injured constantly and
Uh-huh.
they're sitting out due to injury, but go and play, USA basketball. I mean, if you never played before, then I
Uh-huh.
would want to be fair to you. But certain players that we speak of has played already, and they're not playing a lot of NBA games, and they injured or whatever. So I don't think that's really fair. But hey, if they want to go do it, it's just our opinion. But in reference to the young guys,
Yeah.
I think they should go for the experience and try to learn from the other guys that's gonna be there because I think the practices and the battles, like back in the days, how it used to be, they get to compete against each other. I think that's
Yeah.
the main reason why Kevin Durant and certain players want to go.
That's big though, man. That means that you're a real hooper. Like it's no real incentive for KD or any of those big stars to go, other than just going to see a different part of the world. It's no real incentive for them to go out there and play against guys
A
they know
brand,
they're better
like we
than
just
their
spoke
brand.
of, they
Yes,
representing a brand.
yes, 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 man. And the biggest branding effort was back in 1992, man, when Nike made all of those Olympic style shoes. Like if you remember the Jordans, at the time it was the sixes. They made the Olympic color sixes. The Barclays, the 3-6, the 180s. They made the Olympic color 180s. The David Robinsons, his joints had a colorway. The Scottie Pippins, they all had the Olympic style colorway. So it was big back then. You know what I'm saying? And that was in 1992. So it's even bigger now. You know what I'm saying? In 2021. You know what I mean? So I think that the experience will help guys like Toppin and Emmanuel quickly. And you need to pay attention to that now, because the fact that, Toppin didn't get a lot of playing time as a majority of the rookies that were drafted this year, but he was able to make the Olympic select team. Not too many other rookies in his draft class and quickly made it. So that just solidifies my point that I made to you last week about, if a trade was to happen, Julius Randle is the first one to go, because the investment in Obi Toppin and his projection and his ceiling is probably super high, man. And a lot of people see a lot of potential in him, especially after the performance that he had in the playoffs. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree. It's funny because I saw something
Uh-huh.
and I seen the numbers and I was like, damn, it's like I knew he did good, but I didn't know he did as good as the numbers that I saw. Eight,
Playoffs?
18 points in the playoffs. But I was saying I remember him hitting threes and
Mm-hmm.
playing well. But
Mm-hmm.
we discussed that he should have got more time. So when
Mm-hmm.
I seen them post his playoff minutes and points,
Uh-huh.
like he did good. That could be the reason why he's on that team too.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
And um I agree with the point of Randall being good trade bait, if you ask me,
Uh-huh.
because people may want him because what he just did. Now, I'm not quick just to get rid of him for no reason, though. If it's worth it and they want him, and what we're getting in return, like you said, trade bait, because Toppin can replace him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the point why this makes a lot of sense is because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The faster a player shows production like Toppin is showing at a
Uh-huh.
fast pace,
Uh-huh.
you got to look at what he's going to be doing in a couple years from now.
Yeah.
Took Julius Randle a long time to do what he just did.
Yes. So
So
that
I mean,
tells,
that's my point on that. Really, I
yeah,
agree with you, and that's my take. So
yeah,
that's my
that
answer
that
to your question.
that says a lot. And it just opened my eyes to even more, like, look how fast it took Toppin to do what it took years for Julius Randle to do. You know what I mean? And Randall's gonna command a lot more money than Toppin is making right now, in at least the next 3 years, because he's gonna be under a rookie deal for 4 years. He did year one, he still got another 3 years, and then they're gonna have to pay him because he's on a rookie pay scale. He's on a lottery pay scale as well. So that's a lot of piece. That's a lot of money they're gonna have to pay him, but not as much as they would have to pay a Julius Randle. You know what I mean? But the kid Luca Vildoza is who I'm really focusing on, because he's a point guard, and
Mhm.
everybody's sitting there trying to say that, they're comparing his numbers to Luka Doncic. They played in the same league and he had
Mhm.
the same effect, but I don't see that in him. You know what I mean? I see a lot of not Pablo Prigioni, but I don't see I don't see like I don't see him as the answer, to be honest. Because even playing in the international games, like, he hasn't done anything, but he just hit a half court shot the other day that made a highlight. But you don't see him dominating the games like how Luca did at that age, in
Mhm.
the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
I already
Luca's.
lost my huh?
Luke is different. You know what I think is wrong with it? Like it's overrated because it's only been a certain amount of those guys as well. Like when you look back, you say Dirk, you can name on your hands the guys. But we already said earlier that they've been playing strictly basketball. They didn't have to go through being failed off or none of that. They learned basketball at a
Boy.
huh?
Now you said failed off. Boy, you said failed off, like failed off the team.
Or from school. They didn't
Yeah.
have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Their parents put them in that business early on. It's like they train us to not be on point to where we really want to go. And they said the ball father was crazy for sending his kid over there. Now he's the rookie of the year.
That is a fact. That is true. Because he killed. He killed.
Because the competition level, and that's my point, the competition level over there is real mature. But
Yeah.
like I said, over the years, it's only a certain amount, just like here. And the point I was going to make for saying that is because I think that the way it's looking, our young guys, our millennials, our new guys, like
Mhm.
the Trey Youngs, and I'm not saying Knick players, I'm saying players in general. You
Yeah.
look at what's going on, the new guys that's coming in is really dynamic, and they're able to be dynamic because they seeing so much. They seeing much more than what we saw when we was younger because of TVs and YouTube and all of this stuff. So
Mhm.
my point, I think that we should draft a point guard
So since you
like
talking
Sharif Cooper or
to that,
one of these guys, maybe because the young guys coming in is man. Look what Obi did. Look at the examples of young talent that's coming in quickly. Think about that, Stills. What you think about that?
I mean, I won't even lie to you. I don't know enough about any of these guys coming into college to really make a huge assessment on them.
Mhm.
But I do agree that we need a point guard because the way that it's looking is that our management is going to keep Derrick Rose, regardless of who they get during the draft or via trade. Now, we can't have Derrick Rose as our best point guard going into next season. We can't because he showed that he still has a little something in the tank, but he doesn't have starter minutes for a full season left in the tank because Father Time is undefeated and his legs took a beating over the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
backup.
a backup, yes, definitely a backup. You know what I mean? But this Sharif Cooper kid, tell everybody who he is.
Man, the Sharif Cooper's tough.
Mhm.
I watch him. I watch him for a while in high school.
Mhm.
He basically he not really big. He doesn't really he passes the ball well off the pick and roll.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah,
he
he's a
he
elite
doesn't really. I mean, it depends on really like, is Derrick Rose gonna be like a mentor, or do we really need more powerful player than just a young guy coming in?
yeah.
Because, but my point in saying to him was because my point I was making earlier about the new talent that's coming up, right?
Uh-huh.
They so talented that you never know what these guys is gonna come in the league and do. Look
Yeah.
what Trey Young is doing already at a
100%.
fast pace. Look what Quickly did. These guys all play against each other. These
100%.
guys know about Sharif Cooper. So when he
Yeah.
comes in the league, then the other kid, Buck Knight, from Connecticut,
Uh-huh.
he's another one. Book Knight is his name.
Uh-huh.
He's another kid from Connecticut they said we might could get. But my point is really about naming these young guys. I'm not sure if which one is going to be as so dynamic because we
Yeah.
don't have an early pick.
Yeah.
We're at 19 and 21. You
Yes.
feel me
And
still?
and
So it's
and
not fair.
32. So
Yeah,
we got
so it's
three.
not fair. My point really is kind of like, I don't want it to be miscrewed because we're not like 5'7" like we
Yeah,
would normally at. And we
nah.
would definitely get something.
So
But
uh-huh.
don't sleep.
Nah, so I'm looking at Sharif Cooper right now. His stats, He's a freshman, by the way. 6'1", 180 pounds. He's from Powder Springs, Georgia. He goes to the University of Auburn. He was a freshman.
Yep.
Yeah. So, as a freshman coming in, fresh from college, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists per game. His field goal percentage was a little crazy to me. 39% from the field. That doesn't really
He's
doesn't
not gonna
really
come
stand
in
out
the
as that.
league and do.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
not gonna be on the NBA team doing
I
what
know
he
that.
did in college.
Nah, I get that. But I'm looking at his numbers, and that's what his numbers are. The points is impressive. The assist is definitely impressive. 20 and 8. That's Stephon Marbury numbers.
But that's my point. If we could get him at a 19 still, that's a
If,
steal.
if he falls to that, you know what I'm saying? Because those
He
numbers
might.
are impressive. 20 and 8. That's almost a double-double. The only thing is his size. 6'1", 180. So you gotta put on some size. But
Tough.
that's good. Nah, that is
Tough.
good. He played
Look up
12
James
games.
Bouknight from Connecticut, from UConn.
What's his name?
James Bucknight, Bouknight.
James Bucknight. Okay. Talk about him.
Oh man, he fill it up too.
Yeah.
He's a good on the ball defender. I think Tibbs love this kid. That's why I think the Knicks might take him, because he gonna come in and produce right away, like a quickly, but he can handle the ball, pass the ball. He's more of a scorer though.
Yeah. He got some size on him. He's 6'5". He's from Brooklyn. Shout out to him. 6'5", 190 pounds. So he's a little thin. 6'5", 190 pounds. He averaged 18 points, 5 boards, and 1 assist per game. Now, his shooting percentage from the field was 44%. That's pretty good. He averaged 18 points, and like you said, he played for the UConn Huskies. You know what I mean?
Up on the ball,
And
defender.
he was sophomore. Yes. That's good. That is good, man. That's good. So it remains to be seen, you know what I mean, what they do. But they definitely need shooting. We know that. But more than anything, they need a floor general, because like I said, we can't go in depending on Derrick Rose, and quickly doesn't seem like he's a NBA style point guard. He just seems like he's more of a scoring guard, combo guard that can give you some minutes at the point, but not really what we need. And Chris Paul is showing us what a point guard is right now.
You know what I wanted to ask you? Do you think we need maybe some more? I think we need more wing help. Like Bullock is. I mean, I don't want to take away from none of the other pieces we have, but a better starting shooting guard would help us as well.
That is needed. We need to upgrade at all positions, man. Atlanta exposed a lot of our weaknesses, because you had guys like Kevin Herter killing us. You know what I mean? Alec Burke, though he played well at certain parts and times of the season, when it mattered the most, he didn't step up in the playoffs because he's erratic. And this is why he was able to bounce around as much as he did during his young career. Bullock,
consistent, right?
Yeah, he wasn't consistent. Bullock isn't the answer. He's a 3-and-D guy, but to me, I don't know. I don't think that we can keep this same roster going in the next season and building on what we did this year. I just don't. I'm being realistic, but I don't know if the help is going to all come through the draft. You know what I mean? It'll be good. It might.
A guy like those guys we just discussed, could do. I'm not going to take a credit from Bullock, because I did see him guard up on some real good players.
Yeah,
and that's from his experience. We don't want to expect a young guy just to come in and know. Even if he's better offensively than Bullock, he's not going to know everything that Bullock know from being in the league. And that's why the players you named, Stills, they all been in the league for a little while. Herter, these guys been in the league. And they haven't been doing that. So it's about time they did it. We happen to have a young core. Julius Randle had a come out party. He been in the league for a while, just like those guys.
That is true. That is true. Would you make a move for a guy like Brandon Ingram?
I would, because his offense, to me, stays steady. Now, could he be a better defender? Yeah, he's kind of thin. So they gotta get him on a nice, I mean, some guys don't put weight on, so we can't say like KD, they're gonna stay slim. But
Mhm.
he's consistent with his numbers. I could say that about him.
What if it came at the expense of moving RJ Barrett?
That would be tricky because if we just discussed earlier about the pace of a young player, how fast our young players are doing well,
Mm-hmm.
Ingram didn't even move at that rate.
He
He
did
did decent on the Lakers, but
a lot
you
of
know what
that.
I mean.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think, yeah, what did he play with Kobe? He did play with Kobe.
He didn't get no run. Those guys didn't play well. Lou. I don't understand. They didn't come out like our guys did. And I said this weeks ago that stills we holding our guys too accountable because they doing so well. And all these other guys been in the league for a long time, and we giving them passes for all them years, and they ain't do nothing, and we acting like we don't remember. Then we talked about that when we said,
Yeah,
"Yo, Randall, he ain't never did nothing all these years,"
yeah,
and quickly, and these guys been in the league for a couple years and doing all this work. Even Obi.
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
We gotta always look at that stills.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're definitely right.
So I would not trade RJ like that. Nope.
Really?
I
Wow.
wouldn't now. If that factors in, nope. We have to look at every angle. I would keep him.
Wow. You would keep him over Brandon Ingram? Wow. So
Yup.
I mean that you're,
That's not all we giving up stills, and you know that.
no,
You
no,
was
no. I
saying,
know that. No, he'll be
yeah,
a piece. He'll be a piece that has to go. But the reason
mhm.
why I say that is because remember, RJ and Zion, they want to play together. And if New Orleans is going to do everything to keep Zion, they'll probably do everything to make Zion happy as well. And if that means getting rid of Brandon Ingram, who's taking away Sean from their franchise player, they're going to do that. So that
Well,
may
if
be
they
a
made it
scenario.
sweet, if
Huh?
they made it sweet where we're not losing on the deal, then I would have to maybe look at it because I like RJ, but it's not like he's untradeable.
Nah, he's not.
If they
He's not.
threw in Ball and Ingram,
Mhm.
he's out of here.
That's a fact. That's a fact. They probably may not, Ball, we're gonna have to sign a free agency to get him, if anything. But it looks like that may be possible. Maybe a possibility.
But I
But
heard someone saying he's more like of a wing player, and I didn't really get what they meant by that because I think Ball is a pass first type of a player because he doesn't have a great shot. So, but they look at things different, but they could have a point as well.
yeah,
So maybe he'll help us too because we could push him to the two position where we kind of weak at as well. We just said that.
yes, yes, yes. So it remains to be seen, but the draft is definitely coming up, and the draft is on July the 29th. And we just spoke about the Knicks needs, and the Knicks actually have um 3 picks in this year's draft. They
And we
have
might trade up too. They said that's another point I wanted to mention to you.
yeah,
We could trade up to get
we
somebody that yeah.
we got 19 and 21 for sure. And I believe we got the 31st pick, which is in the second round. Now, if they trade up, it has to be really worth it, man, because I wouldn't in that position, 19 and 21. I mean, where you going to trade up to? What, 10, 12? They need the extra bodies because, you know what I mean? The fact that we got a lot of money, we're going to spend a lot of money. We still need to get some players on cheap that we can keep on the roster if we plan on going after guys like a Dame Lillard or any superstar that's available that's disgruntled. We're going to have to break some eggs to make that omelet. So I wouldn't even worry about trading up unless it's for sure thing. It got to be a future star at point guard or a knockdown shooter because we need that. We need all of that stuff because what that Atlanta series showed us is that we don't have consistent makers. We don't have consistent shot makers. And the only way I would do that is if it's one of those type of guys. But I would just keep the talent. Like I would keep all 3 of my draft picks this year, stockpile everything, And when that right deal comes along, then we can move some players because we'll have enough depth to replace what we got rid of. You know what I mean? And any type of blockbuster trade for a guy like a Lillard or anybody else that's out there available, like an Ingram or somebody that came up. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But
I mean,
speaking about go ahead.
I was gonna say draft moves are very big. So, you know, sometimes you may think we need two players when
Uh-huh.
it's really one player.
Uh-huh.
Just like how we talk about it, how with the Curry or these players who we could have got or things like that.
Oh God.
Sometimes you got to look back and see what good players got drafted at high draft picks, but were really good players. So we never could really underestimate what pick or what if we trade up,
Uh-huh.
we probably going in for that 15th for that first round. After
Yeah.
15th, they not in the first round, right?
Yeah.
Or they call it lottery. My bad.
Yeah. Lottery pick. After the first 14 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
after
maybe
the
we
first
trade up
14
for a
picks.
lottery, maybe not.
Yeah. Right.
Now, to me, that don't really matter from what they call a lottery
Mm-hmm.
and through two picks, three picks after that, a
Mm-hmm.
player could be better than that player.
That's a
You
fact.
know?
That's a
So just like when they traded up to get when they did the Mokel Fultz, the Fultz trade for Tatum,
mm-hmm.
that was a very smart move. So little moves like that do matter, Stills. And we got a lot of money. So I
And
think
speak,
those guys we just saw, hopefully we get somebody like that and they could combine what we have, like you said, and just
man,
build off the draft a little bit at least.
man, I get so angry, man, the more I look at it, man, because it just goes back to drafts. We could go back to the draft when we drafted Danilo Gallinari. One pick ahead of Danilo Gallinari was Steph Curry. We
That's
can
my
go
point.
back to when they passed up on Brandon Jennings. They drafted Jordan Hill. We can go we can go to even 2017. We had the opportunity to get Donovan Mitchell. We drafted Frank Ntilikina. Like the Knicks have had incompetent people at
But
the helm.
that's not.
What?
I'm not. I don't want to say that's you wrong for feeling that way because it
Uh-huh.
seems that they are. And we home team, we Nick fans,
Of
but
course.
you can't really tell. Now I'm gonna tell you a story, and my bad because I didn't want you to feel that way. So that's
Let's
why
go.
I wanted to tell you this. Do you know Donovan Mitchell only put his name in the draft because I want to say Chris Paul or Carmelo or a couple of these veteran players that worked out with him one time
Uh-huh.
told him to. He was he I know him from college.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't that much.
Louisville.
Yeah, he I did not think he was gonna get drafted. And be now I don't want to say that. I didn't think he was gonna be who he is today.
Mm.
So with that being said, I'm only bringing that up to tell you what you said. Yeah, if we know now Frank wasn't better than him, but
We
it was
everybody
it,
was
it's they
better.
it's they grind and they journey. No, everybody didn't because at that time he didn't even believe in himself. That's the point I brought up that story to you about Donovan Mitchell. I think his hard work, his effort, maybe who he worked out with, those things can mean a lot. Now I don't know what Frank Nikita did to sink the way he did, because he grew up playing young from overseas and everything. So I don't really know his story still, but I'm just saying that it's a hit or a miss when it comes to that. So you can't really. I mean, the Knicks made so many mistakes. You could blame that management. Okay, cool, we understand that. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, when teams make a pick, and it happens all the time because you can't say. Did you know he was going to do what he did in the playoffs this year? No,
Nah, but
that's my point.
they did have some people in Knicks management that
Mhm.
wanted him. Phil Jackson made the decision. Oh, we're gonna go with Frank Ntilikina because
Mm.
he fits the triangle. You know what I mean? He fit the triangle, and this is why he drafted him. That's what made me so pissed off that they
That brings
passed on
on
Donovan Mitchell.
that,
Huh?
got blame Dolan for that because Dolan wanted Phil Jackson there, and
Yes,
he didn't do a good job.
yes. Now, to your point, when you look at Donovan Mitchell, he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard, but he's only 6'1", but he kills.
Donovan Mitchell? I thought he was taller than that.
6'1", 215 pounds.
Wow.
6'1", 215 pounds. For real. But like you said, the draft is a crapshoot, and you never know what you're going to get. The last time the Knicks were in this position where they had 3 draft picks in one night was back in 1996, where they actually had 3 first-round picks. They had the 18 pick, the 19 pick, and the 21 pick. And I remember that vividly because that was the year that Coach K basketball was out. And I used to be at my man Cav crib. Shout out to Cav. I used to be killing him in Coach K. That's when you could break the backboards and all of that stuff. And shout out to the players now. We talked about this earlier that can make money off their likeness. Because back then, when they made all those NCAA games, players would have been caking right now. You know what I mean? I don't even think they even make like the Coach K's or anything like that anymore because now they'll have to pay out the wazoo to these kids. You know what I mean? Because you're using their likeness and everything. I remember Antonio McDyess was in that game. Kerry Kittles was in that game. Lawrence Moulton was in that game. Jason Caffey was in that game. Walter McCarty. But anyway, I say all that to say this. The last time the Knicks had this much capital in the draft was back then. And in that draft, they had 18, 19, and 21. They drafted John Wallace out of Syracuse at 18. John Wallace was looking promising back then. He was looking like a baby Derek Coleman at Syracuse. They drafted Dante Jones out of Mississippi State with the 19th pick, and Dante Jones was looking tough in the tournament that year. I remember him because he looked like a dog. He played with the Mississippi State. I think they were the Bulldogs, Mississippi State Bulldogs. And they also drafted Walter McCarty, who I wasn't really too high on, but at Kentucky, he was killing that year. But he was like a guy that lived off the fact that Kentucky had a stacked team, and he would always be the finisher in the open floor. He was like a 3-and-D guy as well, but he was able to run the floor like a deer. And they picked him with the number 21 pick. And the Knicks they didn't have nothing to show for that draft after that. They got rid of all 3 of those players, man. Shout out to my Uncle Tone, man. He said, "What up, Neff? We just need to upgrade the players that didn't add value last year. Peyton, Knox, and Frank. If RJ, IQ, and Obi can come back with the fire in their eyes doing that Randall off-season training workout, and they'll be in good shape." He said, "If Mitch comes back in great shape, we will be great and more athletic. Just get talented players in the off season, and we'll be all right." What do you think about that?
Well, I'm glad he just brought up Mitch
Mm-hmm.
because I seen something that said if we sign Mitch, we can't get Noens Noel. Is that true? I want to ask you, and then I want to touch on what your uncle just said. They said if we get Mitch, most likely we not getting Nerlens Noel if we sign Mitch.
I don't understand why that would be because Nerlens Noel wouldn't command the same amount of money. He wouldn't command a big salary. I don't see why
He deserves
they
it
can't
though.
keep him.
He deserves decent money still, right?
He does, but he's still like a veteran, like at the tail end of his career. And he's also injury prone. And he's also thin. Nerlens
Can't be
Noel.
at the tail end.
Nerlens Noel.
4 years, 3 years, 4 years in the league. He's young still.
Hell no. Nerlens
Yes.
Noel.
He's young.
He's been down. Yeah, he's been down since
4 years.
2013. His first year, he was injured. It was a knee injury.
13?
Yeah, he's been down since 2013. Wow. Yes, he was
That's
down
crazy.
since 13. Yep.
He was drafted. I thought he was like 4 or 5 years in the league.
He got drafted by Philly. You know what I mean? He didn't play his first season. He played 3 years 5 years in Philly, 2 in Dallas, 3 in OKC. So he's been around for a little while. So
Yeah,
he's not going to command big money. You know what I mean? He's not going to
right.
command big
That's
money
good. I
because,
like him.
yeah, I like him too because he's a fearless defender. He helped us out a lot in Mitchell Robinson's absence. He actually was the main reason why we even got as far as we did get because he stepped up defensively for us. You know what I mean? So I would like to keep Nerlens Noel. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind keeping him, but
He
to
older
keep,
than I knew.
yeah,
So
he is. Nah, he's been around for a while. He's a veteran and he kind of helped us out. And that was his thing. He came in with the intention of helping our young guys develop. You know what I mean? And he definitely had a good year last year, man. Signed Noel for 3 years, 15 million. Shout out to the Facebook user that said that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind giving him that either. Like, I think he deserved it. I think he likes it here in New York. I think that Tibbs likes him. You know what I mean? Tibbs likes guys like that. And that's big homie. That's big homie. That's the uncle talk chiming in with that. We could definitely sign him, but I don't think that he'll come that cheap. You know what I'm saying? You probably got to spend a couple more dollars to keep him. But I like Andre Drummond, man. A lot of people don't like the fact that bringing Andre Drummond because they say, like you said, he gonna clog the middle and all of that. But I think we need some size, man, in the middle, man. Like,
who you getting rid of? Because we just said with them two guys, we good. You would have to get rid of one of them.
yeah, I would sacrifice Mitchell Robinson. I would definitely trade Mitchell Robinson to get a guy like a Damian Lillard if we could. If I could add an Andre Drummond and then still keep Nerlens Noel to come off the bench as that security blanket on defense, I would definitely do that in a heartbeat. Because right now, Drummond's stock is so low, you can get him for cheap. He didn't have a great season in LA because he came at midseason. He didn't get acclimated to the system. That's just like anybody. If you got traded to a new system in the middle of the season, you still learning. Like, you can't just step in and be the same man child that you was when you played so long in Detroit or in Cleveland. He didn't even last long in Cleveland, but people was expecting that same Andre Drummond on the Lakers. Like, the Lakers system didn't fit him. To me, you know what I mean? Especially when AD came back, it's like you can't have both of those big guys down there on the block. You know what I mean? And the only thing that hurt Andre Drummond was his free throw shooting as well. But we need a big body and an intimidator in the middle, man. Clogging up the middle isn't a bad thing. It'll keep some guys from coming in there and getting easy layups. Because we got killed by Clint Capella in the
Yeah, I think Mitch
playoff.
would have changed the dynamic of that a little
Think
bit.
so?
Because I always said it. He was the type of defender when somebody came in the middle,
Uh-huh.
they was kind of looking like they didn't want to go in there. And I
Yeah,
said, he got that at a young age.
yeah.
Give him a
I
little
don't
bit
think
of time.
I don't think Tibbs likes him though.
That's what I heard, though. I
I
heard
don't
he
think
don't
Tibbs
get
likes
along with Tibbs. He's too
him. Yeah.
childish for Tibbs,
Yes,
I heard.
exactly. The maturity level. You know what I mean? The maturity level. What's his ceiling to you? Do you think he'll be a better Marcus Camby?
It's
Because
hard to
right now
say,
that's what it look like.
it's hard to say, Stills. You know why? Because he's injured too much.
That's what I mean. The
Yeah.
best ability is availability, and he's never really available. So would you invest money? Because he's a restricted free agent this year. So that means if somebody offers him a bag, the Knicks have to match that or they lose him. Is he worth a big investment?
That's a good question. Because you just said Drummond, and Drummond is not that like a bad player. He's only like a 1 year deal. I seen one of the
Exactly.
Facebook users write that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Shout
a
out to the big
smart.
homie.
That's a smart decision
Yeah,
for 1 year for the low.
yeah. Try him out. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is your tryout. And he's a New York guy. So I think coming back home, he'll be more motivated. I think that he wanted to go to LA because he wanted to chase a ring this year. He probably knew that he was going to probably end up dipping anyway because he wanted the bag, but it didn't work out in his favor. So he gambled and he lost. So now you got to come and sign somewhere for the low and prove yourself. Look at what Tibbs did for Julius Randle. Look at what he did for Julius Randle. He had Randle come back in the best shape of his life. He trusted and believed in him, and Randle came through with flying colors. Can you imagine what he could do with a guy like a Andre Drummond if they
I
get
think the
disciplined?
league is changing so much that if we get a big that could stretch the court
Uh-huh.
with the type of team we have benefits us more
Uh-huh.
instead of Drummond. Even though Drummond gives us a steady rebound, I get that, a Terminator, but we got that from Nerlens Noel as well.
That's
Like,
a fact.
yeah, he not giving us no more than that. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
And then he can't, even though Noel can't go to the 3-point line either. So my thing is this: if we're gonna upgrade, let's upgrade to a big who could spread the floor.
So,
That's my thing, cause that's how they're gonna be able to get in there, especially if we keeping Randall. Randall need that floor spread. That's why they kept the ball in his hand still, so he
so
could go up the middle.
now here we go. So now if that's what we need, right? And that's what we should commit to you, then that means that we need to go all in and call Anthony Towns.
That's another good one. That's a great one because he ain't got to be in the paint. You got to guard that man all the way out there. That's why Drummond is not a good pickup as well. Let me tell you why. You see how it's
Yep.
two sides to the coin. Where
Uh-huh.
if we said we get Cat and then say Drummond is on another team, Drummond's not even going to be in the paint because he got to go all the way out there to guard Cat. And
Exactly.
then if we pick and roll on him, he can't stay with the guard.
Yep.
That's how when you watch the playoffs now, you watch basketball, you see the
Uh-huh.
Brook Lopez get on the guard, he's fooled.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's the same thing gonna happen to Drummond.
And shout out to Big Tone. He
Right?
said if we can get Cat, then that's
Right
the guy.
or wrong,
Nah,
still.
you're right. Absolutely right. Nah, you're right.
And that's why I
You're right.
really, when you say him, I like him, like you like him, but
Uh-huh.
those are the reasons that we got to stay away from him.
But I think that they're in a position where they can get both of them. They can get him and Karl Anthony Towns. At this point
Too
in
much
his career,
big though. That's gonna crowd the floor. What we gonna use
no,
him?
no,
That's
no,
why
no,
Lakers
no.
are so mad they did that.
Oh, nah, but I'm saying like then Drummond won't have to start. He
I
won't
understand
have
what
to
you mean.
start. Nah, he won't have to start. He's a hell of an insurance policy, though.
But it's bad because just like the Lakers had Gasol, they had Drummond. The
Uh-huh.
coach, he didn't even know how to play. He didn't give nobody a chance to get comfortable, and
Yeah,
that's what caused the problem for them.
Yeah, he was a terrible coach, man. Frank Vogel was terrible for them. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have went somewhere else. But again, LeBron is really the coach of that team right now. You know what I mean? But if we stick to that scenario, the person that fits the bill is Karl Anthony Towns. And I think that you could even probably package something to get him and D'Angelo Russell together. For real, because D'Angelo Russell's future isn't in Minnesota with the young boy there now. Shooting guard. Anthony Edwards. It's not gonna happen for him there.
We're gonna know real soon.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna know soon enough.
Yeah, because the rumors is always twirling around Minnesota and Cat wanting to go and then losing his mom and wanting to be close to home and him growing up a Knick fan. I think that's the move that the Knicks will probably end up making, if not during this off season, definitely before the trade deadline next year. Right now, Karl Anthony Towns is averaging 24 points, 10 boards, and 4 assists a game as a big man. That right there is what we need. But can he coexist with a Julius Randle is the biggest question.
Maybe they want Randle.
So get rid of Randle.
In the package. It makes sense.
It does. It makes a lot.
Cat is a more ball dominant player.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And you said Julius Randle is not comfortable
being
a Robin.
Nah, I don't think that he'll want to be a Robin here. I think that
bad.
Because you gotta think about it. Like he probably feel like, yo, I did all of this. I broke all these team records. I helped lead this team.
No.
But
if Giannis could be a Robin, that boy better go and take the back of the bus. Giannis is an MVP for how many years in a row back to?
That's
Come
a fact.
on, man. He's a Robin. Perkins calling Giannis a Robin. Because Middleton stepped up the way he did to get him there. And I can understand why. So if that's the case, Julius Randle would be a Robin for sure. That's the perfect example.
Yeah, but he'll have to embrace that role. But I just don't see him embracing that role.
That's why we don't want him if that's the case.
And I don't think that the Knicks really have intentions on keeping him. I mean, right now he did exactly what they wanted to do if you think about it. He played his heart out, brought his value all the way up to the point where a team can't deny his talent, and his salary is cap friendly right now. They're not gonna give him a super max, but he's somebody that we can add to get a piece that we really need to build around this franchise. You know what I mean? And I don't think that the Knicks are gonna keep him. And I think the only thing with the Karl Anthony Towns thing is that him and Tibbs didn't see eye to eye when they was in Minnesota, because not everybody can play for Tibbs. A lot of these stars can't be coached hard. They don't like being coached hard. And that's why Jimmy Butler was getting on Karl Anthony Towns when they was together in Minnesota, calling him Charmin and soft and all of that.
Maybe he don't want to come back.
Huh?
Maybe he don't want to come back.
Karl Anthony Towns?
With Tibbs.
Maybe, but the rumor has
why would you want to if you know what type of animal Tibbs is?
Nah, but the rumor was that he realized that he was just a lot younger, and he just didn't understand how to take the coaching. You know what I mean, from Tibbs. So it remains to be seen, but it's going to be a very interesting off season. The draft again is on July the 29th. I'm very interested to see who the Knicks are going to pick up. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely very interested to see what happens after the Phoenix Suns win the NBA championship this year. You know what
they're going to win out?
I think they're going to win it out, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that Giannis and them played their best game yesterday, man. It might be over. We got a minute and 20 seconds left, man. What you think on that?
Well, I think it seems like it's about when you win and you get your confidence back up.
Yeah,
Milwaukee plays that way, and if they win another game, I think that what happens after that, the pressure is now on Phoenix.
Yeah,
because they have to go home and win.
Yeah,
you get it.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they have to go back on the road and have a chance of losing the series. You know what I mean? So, when you have home court, the pressure is really on you in that situation when you just basically protecting your court, and that's all Milwaukee has to do. And then Phoenix has to win when they go back to Phoenix. And if they don't, then it's anybody's series. So, like I say, I don't matter to me who wins. So that's my take on how it could go either way. So it don't really matter.
Well, listen, man, we got 15 seconds left in the show, man. Shout out to everybody that checked us out on Facebook. Shout out to everybody that listen live on the station. Don't forget, every Monday, 10 to 11, Knicks Talk Nation Radio. Stills the great Hard Will. We'll check you next week. Peace.
Peace.